Hello, lovely people. It's Hila here, Saturday Night Station. Thank you so much for tuning in on this gloriously hot and sunny day here in the north of England. We're currently going through a heat wave at the moment, so I have to have all of the windows open, so you will be catching a lot of outside noise. Normally I would close the windows, but I can't do that because it is boiling hot, and I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's been a wonderful last few days. The garden has just been glorious, and I'm not kidding you, like the courgettes, the vegetables, literally one day they'll be like this, the next day they're this big because of all of the heat, and all of the flowers are just blooming beautifully. But anyway, that's not what you're here for today. You're here for some sewing makes, and I have got my sewing makes, and I've got my faithful record here. I had to bring this down from the sewing cave. So the sewing cave is it's got the greenhouse effect because it's in the attic, and heat rises, so all of the heat that's being created is gone up into the attic, and I'm literally in there for 5 minutes looking for things, and I've got a film of sweat on me. So not much sewing going this last week because of all of the heat, but I have done a fair bit of sewing. So without further ado, we are going to jump into it. So we have the Compose Robe by Love Notions. So this, begging your pardon, don't want to lose my notes. So this is the Love Notions Compose Robe, which I made for my son, my third son. He's turned 10. He's now 10 years old, 120 months, if you believe it. And it's been made in this really lovely plush Galaxies cuddle fleece. And this fleece is so soft and gorgeous to touch. This has been washed about 2 times already now, but it's still really very, very lush. It was my second time using Love Notions patterns. I've used them to make a dress, a summer basics dress. And I thought that the sizing was pretty spot on, but that was for the adults. And this one is a kid's one. I believe that there is a grown-up version of this. Came together really, really quickly. I selected the age 10, based on his age. And the fit was as expected. He loves it. He's a very happy little boy. It was a bit tricky where he had 4 seams butting up together. So as you can see, there's a bit of nonsensory going on here. My overlocker couldn't handle this. So I ended up having to stitch down and double stitch down just to reinforce it. But other than that, it's a very, very cuddly, useful thing to have. I used the leftovers to make like these really lovely little plushies that he absolutely loves. So that was that. The next one was a Berda white t-shirt. So I used Berda 6602. So that I don't keep turning around, I'm just going to put that over here. Whew. This is how hot it is. Just going to be fanning myself a little bit here. Okay. So the next one is Berda 6602, and I made this in white cotton jersey t-shirt for my husband. I've made this pattern before for him and for myself as well. So it's a really good unisex pattern for a loose fit crew neck type t-shirt. I used the white jersey that I got from Fabrics for All, and I think that it's done really well. So this t-shirt, this is its 5th wash now, so he basically wears it whenever it's available because it's a white t-shirt and it's summer, and it goes with everything. It will go with his chinos, with his shorts, with his jeans, everything. So he tends to wear it, and the only time it's not being worn is it's because it's in the laundry, and I've just pressed it. It's just come out of the laundry right now, and I think that the fabric does really well. So this was Berda 6602, a very good basic pattern. I was very happy with that because I had promised him a white t-shirt for quite a while. So I finally got to fulfill that promise, which is always really quite good. Okay, so after that, we have another Berda. And this is a dress that I made. And it was a UFO. It was sat in the UFO box for a while. I'm not even going to tell you how long it is because it is embarrassing. But this is basically a shift dress with a little bit of a funky flat thingy, flange thingy going over here, right? And what's pretty cool about it is it's got some dots here, some Dior dots. So the shaping of the bust is on here. And I think that's really, really awesome, the way that they've designed it. Now, I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to do the neckline. And I just ended up MacGyvering the neckline, and it looks like this. And it works. It absolutely works. Inside, it might be a little bit of a hot mess, as you can see over there. But I started this project so long ago that I had forgotten some of the rationale that I had. So for instance, I honestly don't understand why, for the life of me, I did these in the same color, because you can't really see them because of the lovely print. The print itself is a Lady McElroy cotton lawn, and it's a very dark tropical print. There was a point that I was going through a dark tropical prints phase. So that's what we have. And it's got pockets, which is pretty awesome. Pockets are everything. It's a very cute little dress. I love that it's got these cutaway armholes that really show off my shoulders. In summer, I basically want to show off my shoulders for most of the time. So I quite like it. And I've been wearing it quite a lot. I like to wear it with a little hat. I've got a boater hat that's got a green and blue ribbon. And I think that it looks absolutely cute with it. So it's a very 60s style. That's the vibe that I get when I'm putting it on. So that was Breda 6 2016, number 108. So then I made my husband another McCall's M6044 shirt, but this time I made it in a sky blue shirting fabric, a cotton shirting fabric, and it is such a beautiful fabric. Now, I showed this fabric in a fabric haul video, and I'll link it in the description down below if you want to check out what it looked like before it was sewn. This is just fresh out of the laundry. He loves this, and he has been wearing it literally every Monday, and then he goes into the laundry and he has to wait for it to come back again, but he will put it on, and it just turned out so beautifully. And I'm so proud of all of the high quality stitching elements. So I added the yoke to it because I thought this particular shirt in cotton is not the usual funky stuff, you know, like the really funky prints that he normally goes for, but I wanted to add something just a little bit sassy. And what is sassier than, you know, this cowboy style yoke with the pointiness on a really smart office sky blue shirt? And it looks fabulous. And he wore this to a wedding that we went to at the beginning of July, and I thought that he was just the most magnificent looking chap at the wedding. But I love it. But all of the details of this one, I'm really so proud of it. And I used that pellin. Honestly, lovelies, if you like sewing shirts and you want to create a really beautiful looking collar, the Pellin SF101, see, now I remember it, is such a game changer. So this shirt has already been washed. This is its fourth wash now, because it's been just about 4 weeks since I've made it, and he's been wearing it every week. But look at that collar. Normally for me, by the fourth wash with these shirts, the collar is already beginning to be floppy and all that, but it is still good, and even with the cuffs as well, as you can see. But see all of those details. Really, really, really happy with how this turned out. And I actually did you know, these enclosed seams throughout, so everywhere you've got the enclosed seams. So incredibly professional, and I feel very, very proud of this. I really, really do. So that was, geez, it's like if I stop fanning, I can feel the film of sweat coming on me. So here we go. Okay, so that one I was so proud of how this one turned up, and I enjoyed every second of making it. It was, you know, as slow as I can go for slow sewing, because according to this, I finished the dress, the UFO dress, on Saturday, the 18th of June. And then this one, I finished it on Monday, the 27th. So I had a whole week. So it took me a week to make this. And that's because I decided to do the seams in the full proper way. And then the next thing that I made was the vintage Vogue 8643 apron. So this apron, the view that I chose to make, is very fabric hungry. So I didn't have a lot of options within my stash where I had like 3-4 meters of fabric that could be used for that. But then I remembered that I had a couple of wax prints, African wax prints, which I decided to use. So I used this one, and it is so incredibly bright, isn't it? It's like such a fabulous, fabulous apron. And I found these in my little button stash. So these are really some old vintage buttons that were there, and I happened to have 4 of them, so I used the 2 of them of that. So for the front pattern piece, I decided to center this mandala on here, and it's got like these gathered side panels. And the main thing that I changed actually on this pattern is that at the back here, you're supposed to have a button and a buttonhole. But honestly, I could not imagine something more fiddlier than I want to put on an apron. And then when I'm putting on my apron, I have to button at the back. I struggle very much with buttoning things at the back. Zips, I'm okay, I can deal with, but I couldn't kind of get my head around that. So I just decided at the last minute, because at first I was going to stay true to the pattern, but my brain kept on saying does not compute when I was simulating how I would wear the garment, because I do that when I'm making a thing. Once it's beginning to come together and I'm getting so excited, I can't wait to wear it. I'm picturing how am I going to wear it. And when it came to the apron, the idea of buttoning at the back, it was just like my brain was like, does not compute. So at the very last minute, I actually had to unpick and then add some straps. So I had to go through, because I'd thrown out all of the scraps in to the bin that I have in there. So I had to go through and see if I could find some scraps that would be long enough to make a tie belt. And I put this as a tie belt here. And in fact, when I put it on, because I hadn't accounted for it when I was making it, I made a little bit of a mistake. And so I had to fold it under. Otherwise, the belt was sort of going over that way. But you can't really see it because the print is so busy. You can hide in it. So it's got a tie back, which is more intuitive for me. So I put it on and then I can tie it around my waist, and that works out better. But it is so, so beautiful and so gorgeous, and I feel so elegant with it. The only beef that I have is that this type of fabric, I don't think it's very good kitchen fabric. So I think for me, kitchen fabric, linen works quite well, canvas works quite well, and perhaps like that waffle cotton, but like super absorbent fabric, so that like whenever I'm getting my hands wet, I tend to do this a lot. And I kind of can't do it with this sort of fabric. It's not as absorbent. So I find that I tend to pick it up when I am doing less heavy duty stuff, right? But it's so pretty. And you can easily, I'm pretty sure that there's a way that you could easily convert this into a dress. I really do. But anyway, love it. I plan on making another one using a more kitchen friendly type of fabric. So more absorbent fabric that would work for that. And then up next, after I made that, by the way, that one came together so quickly. I was actually very, very surprised. I thought it was going to be quite a complex thing to make, but it actually comes together super quickly. So I managed to finish that one in 2 sittings. And then the next thing that I picked up was to make my Grassa Cami top in this lovely white cotton, I want to say embroidered fabric that I picked up in Normandy, France, and it is so cute. So I toyed around with the idea of using the scallop edging on it. So the fabric had a scallop edge along the selvage, but that would have meant that I was going to cut this not on the straight grain, on the cross grain. And along the straight grain, so if I cut it on the cross grain, it meant that the straight grain would be going across my bodice instead. And on the straight grain, it had no give whatsoever. So I wasn't comfortable with the idea of making something that goes onto my bodice and it's got zero give. So I made the decision that I was going to cut it on the straight grain so that the cross grain was going around my bodice, because that's when you have a little bit more give with it, versus this has got zero give when I go like that. But when I go like this, it pulls out a little bit. And I feel like that makes a difference with comfort. So that meant that I had the choice of adding in the scalloping at the bottom. And when I pinned it on, it just didn't feel right. So I ended up not doing it. But I'm so glad about how it turned out, even without the scalloping. There is I am yet to find anything that doesn't go with this cami top. So this is one of my favorite cami top patterns. Before that, I was using the True Bias Ogden Cami, which is a really gorgeous cami top pattern, but the only problem with it is it doesn't have any bust shaping. So it does this sort of like pokey out thing, which this is me nitpicking, by the way, which I sort of thought I would rather not have it. And so this Grassau one came along and it's got the bust shaping. So it makes it so that it goes straight down. And I just like that a lot better. So this one, I made it in one sitting. It comes together so quickly, uses only 0.5 meter of fabric, which is really fabulous. And I think it's worth finding a cami sewing pattern that's just a stable for you to have. So yeah, this one, really good one. I'm going to try and show you some of the outfit combinations that I have with this one. But it's just so cute and so adorable and goes with just about everything that I can think of. So these ones were the ones that took me up to the end of June, and then we move on to July. For the girls, I made them, my twins, I made them a Love Notions tempo dress each. So there's 2 of these and they're just so adorable. So the tempo dresses are sundresses. So they've got like, you know, the straps over here. And then they've got a sheared panel at the back here so that as their bodice grows, they're able to grow into it. The waist is quite wide, so it's not snug on the waist. So they should be in them for a little bit longer than 9 to 10 months, because that seems to be the average that they're staying in clothes that don't have any give for. And they're so adorable. The cotton, this cotton poplin, oh my gosh, I've been so impressed with the quality of this cotton poplin. It is so beautiful. These ones are on their, this is the 3rd wash now that they've had, and they still look so good, and the cotton presses so well, and it's quite comfortable because the girls are reaching for these because they're really fussy. You cannot make them wear what they don't want to wear. So these ones are pretty cool. So I made 2 of these and they're very, very happy. They came together pretty quickly as well. The longest bit with these actually was just doing the shared panels, of which with hindsight, I should have just done 1 panel and then cut the 2 pieces out rather than doing 2 separate panels. But now I know, and I definitely plan on making more of these for them. So this pattern comes in 2 sizes, like with most Love Notions patterns. I think they seem to come with like the kiddie size, and then there's the adult size. And I was so tempted to make an adult size version and actually get in the pattern. But yeah, there we go, Love Notions tempo dress. Okay, so another apron that I actually made was the Tessuti Crossback apron because of these issues that I've been having at the back of my neck. And I love that apron so much. I made it in this really cute cotton canvas. And that cotton canvas is really perfect kitchen fabric. It's thick, it's durable, and it's quite absorbent in terms of just, dealing with wet hands. And it's got a pocket at the front of it. And I gave it away as a present to my sister this past weekend, so I can't show it to you now, but I do have a video of it. But I am going to make myself another one because it's so useful. Comes together so quickly. It took me less than an hour to sew it up all together, and so I plan on making myself another one. But I got a little bit caught short because my niece decided to throw a surprise party for my sister, and so we were sort of like told without a lot of time. So I basically was like, oh, this apron is still looking brand new, and I was lucky that it hadn't gotten a lot of splats on it, and I gave it away as a present. And it actually made me realize that it's actually a really great handmade gift that's actually useful and practical. Because one of the reasons why I'm quite hesitant to give out handmade gifts is because I put in so much work and so much effort into it and time into it, and if it's not to somebody else's taste, they can just sort of like donate it or throw it out, and that can be a little bit like, but with an apron is so useful, particularly a one-size-fits-all apron. So now I've got this idea for Christmas presents. I'm going to be making a lot of these aprons to give to people. So that was that one. Okay, so the next thing that I made is a Berda 6 2020 number 128. And that's a man's camp shirt. So I used this Minerva Core linen, yarn-dyed linen fabric, and it turns out pretty nice. I really like how the stripes go. They just add like a little bit of visual interest. So this pattern, it doesn't have pockets, but I added pockets because pockets are everything. Came together quite quickly and beautifully because it's a cap collar or a convertible collar. It doesn't have a collar stand, so it's quite easy to sew up. And I used the Pellon interfacing over there. And with the buttons, really, really gorgeous. Some great little details. So you've got sort of like this little vent over here. So this is a Berda. It's a men's Berda. And I think I did the size 50. I think, yes, the size 50 for chest 100 centimeters. That's what I did. And for the back here, the yoke, I had the stripe go this way, and then you've got the stripe going downwards for everything else. So very comfortable, very nice summer linen cotton mix shirt for my husband. My husband got a lot of stuff made for him this month. So I was like, that's always quite nice. And I also made a lot of stuff for the kids. Made some Jali Eleanor jeans for my daughter, and she loves them. She wanted some bootcut jeans, which she didn't have because I tend to make them dresses. And so I remembered that I had this pattern, and the nice thing about the Jali patterns is that they go all the way from baby through to grown-up plus XL sizes and what have you. So I remembered that I had this pattern, and I went and I traced it out, and I used some scrap jeans fabric from a previous pair of jeans that I made something like 5 or 6 years ago. And this is it. And it came out so cute. So what I like about these jeans is that they're faux jeans. So you've got a faux fly front. You can't really see it because I used the same thread color for the top stitching. And then they've got an elasticated waist here, and then the back pockets are actually functional. Now this has been washed. This is its first wash now because she took it with her when she went camping for Scouts last weekend, and so it came up. Basically I finished it and then she put it on, And then she didn't take it off, and she went to Scouts with it, didn't take it off the whole weekend, and she had to reluctantly not wear it in order for it to be washed when she came back on Sunday. And so I've pressed it, but this is how it looks. One thing I would say, jelly must draft for really tall kids, because I traced out the age 9, because they are 8 years and 7 months now. Their birthday's in December, right? But it was long. I had to cut off a piece about that long in order for it to fit her. So I was just like, okay, note for next time, don't do that. But love the pattern, love how it turned out, and I'll definitely be making more of these for them as the chosen jeans pattern, because I don't like dealing with fly fronts. Having said that, my husband has requested a pair of jeans, so I do have to make a pair of jeans. So, lovelies. Oh, there's one more thing to show you. Stay tuned. Oh my days, I don't know how I could have forgotten this, but ta-da! McCall's M6044 watermelon shirt, quite possibly the most magnificent shirt that I have yet made. And I love, love, love this shirt. I love the fabric. It was one of those fabrics that I was like, should have bought some for myself as well. But I got this fabric on Etsy, and it's really, really gorgeous. So this is a cotton poplin, and it's it was pre-washed before I cut into it, and it irons quite well, and it's quite nice and lightweight, perfect for summer. Now, I added a pocket there. There is a pocket, guys. Let's see if I can show it to you. Do you see that? It's a pocket. And let me tell you, this took as much time to do as to sew the rest of the shirt. As in, half the time that was spent making this shirt was spent trying to do the pocket matching with the watermelons, because it just took ages because of the triangular shapes and trying to find exactly where it would do. But it was worth it, absolutely worth it. So again, McCall's M6044, the pattern that keeps on giving, really, really beautiful. And I put a yoke at the back here. It's a very subtle feature. I know you can't really see it that much, but you'll be able to see it on an angle, and particularly when he's wearing it, it's a lot more visible. But yeah, and a lot of just really gorgeous details. I'm so proud of this, even if I do say so myself. And we've got that. So very, very happy with this, and the husband is very happy with this. I finished this. This is the most recent thing that I finished before we got the heat wave. I really haven't been able to get into the sewing room. I managed to clean up after I finished these projects, but I haven't been able to get back in to do any sewing just yet. I have to wait for it to cool down. So yeah, so those are the things that I have made from the halfway point of June to the halfway point of July. And I've been very, very happy. And what's been really wonderful about it is because I had picked sewing patterns and projects that I have done before. They were really quite easy, instant gratification, quick sewing projects, which meant that it wasn't interfering with time that I needed to do other stuff, like with the garden, which is just glorious at this time of the year, and just enjoying the garden itself, just being able to sit outside and to eat outside in the garden and just enjoy being in the garden. And so that's what I'm really, really loving about using patterns that are tried and tested, for starters, and patterns that come together relatively quickly, which is pretty awesome. So I'm at that point now where this McCall's M6044, it doesn't take me 2 to 2.5 hours. I can finish a McCall's M6044, but this one took closer to 4.5 hours because of trying to do the pattern matching with that pocket. So yeah. Anyway, lovelies, this has been a longer than usual video. I did think about splitting this into 2 because I realized that I ended up having more sewing projects to share, but I didn't want to do that because the problem is then it just gets put off until later and then it never gets shared. So if you have stayed until the end, I thank you so much. Really appreciate you. You are a rock star, and I will see you in the next video, which is probably going to be either a fabric haul, a browse through, or sewing tutorial. So if you are mad about sewing, if you love sewing, if you think about sewing every single moment that you are not thinking about other stuff, but you spill up thoughts about sewing in your spare time, I'm like that. I am like that. We are kindred souls if you're like that. So hit that subscribe button, like the video, because it does support the channel, and the YouTube ever-changing algorithm just means that, you know, if you like and you comment and stuff like that, it does help to put the channel out there, and we can grow this community of people who just love sewing. Yeah, until I see you next time, lovely people, take care and happy sewing. Bye. Ooh. I'm actually like really quite sweaty now. These fans are really useful. My fans. Today, this is a Grassa Cami dress. So it's that same version of the Cami top, but it's been lengthened into a dress. And during summer, I seem to wear these a lot because they're just comfortable. And this fabric that I made it in is like a Tencel twill, and it's very cooling and very lovely. Just quite is nice and floaty. And that's what I've basically been wearing. It's too hot for me to have any necklaces or anything like that, apart from the fact that my neck is doing its thing. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Another handmade